Welcome once again to Married Without Tears channel. This is your ultimate channel for couples who want to make a difference in their marriage. Tonight we are discussing simply how to rebuild a failing marriage. If your marriage is blissful, strong, healthy, and effectual, glory be to God. But if your marriage is topsy-turvy, full of thorns and thistles, if your marriage is full of conflicts and all manner of disagreements, if your marriage is going down the drain to the extent that some of the expectations, some of the joys and excitements you had in the beginning is no longer there, and it appears as if you are losing it on a daily basis, then there is a need for you to actually listen to this channel, because our edition today is wonderful indeed. Please get hooked to this channel, and there's a red button by my side. Once you click on it, you get subscribed and become part of this wonderful channel to the glory of God. Number one, if you actually want to rebuild a failed marriage or a marriage that is failing, the first thing you must do is to take note of what is happening. Go down to the fundamentals. Take pen and paper and begin to list where did the decline begin? What happened? What experiences did you encounter as a couple that is making the joy of your marriage to go down instead of going up? At what point did your spouse disappoint you? At what point did you become unsupportive to one another's visions and missions? At what point did you actually walk away from the glory that you were actually supposed to experience? At what point? You must sit down with pen and paper and begin to note them down. So many marriages have been messed up because of lack of communication, some for lack of intimacy, some for lack of sexual intercourse, some for lack of support by spouses who should be there for one another. So many marriages have been messed up actually because one was not there to hearken to the vision of another, to the feelings of another, to the challenges and all the things that you are supposed to be there. You are not just there, you are not a companion. And because of that, a whole lot of damage has been done. What actually started? How did it actually start? Where did the decline begin? This is some of the things you must note down as you begin to look at that marriage critically. Because if you don't know where it started going down, you may never know how to prop it up in the end. The first thing you must know, take note of where the disaster started. The second thing you must also do is to make up your mind from now henceforth never to take your spouse or your partner for granted. A whole lot of partners take their spouses for granted because you have wooed him or her, because you have gone through all the hiccups of courtship and you're now in marriage. You are no longer paying attention to emotional investments, to spiritual investment, to physical investment, to psychological investment, things that you need to put into the marriage to actually make it work. So many people I discover walk away. Instead of coming together, they walk away. They seem to drift into their spinsterhood days or into their bachelorhood days. No, you are no longer single. You are now married. And because you are now married, you should find a way of working in a symbiotic form so as to meet the expected target. It's very, very important. So one of the things you must do, don't take one another for granted anymore if you want to get it right. Very, very important. The third thing you must also do is to stop the blame game. I know that any time that there is a problem in a marriage, one person is pointing an accusing figure at another. But I tell you, it takes two to tango. You must not go, allow the blame game. No, don't blame one another. You can blame the circumstances and situations. But when you begin to blame one another for the rot in your marriage, then it is bye-bye to that marriage. Because the moment you begin to criticize one another, the other one you are criticizing becomes defensive. And at that point in time, you can never get it right. So forget about criticizing one another. Forget about laying accusations. Forget about laying blames. Look at the issue at stake and begin to deal with them critically. And then, of course, the solution will come. Very, very important. I want you to know that. The fourth thing you must also realize when you are in this kind of mess and you discover that your marriage is going down, please don't walk away from the bedroom. A whole lot of people have, they decide to cast sexual intercourse aside. But I want to let you know that sex is the oil that lubricates the wheel of the marriage. And because you are in a problem with your spouse, you decide to start giving him or her excuses for being outside of the bedroom. He calls you, darling, come, let's do this. You say, no, I have a headache. No, I am not strong today. No, you give all manner of excuses to hide how you feel. Let me tell you, if you continue on that wrong, there's a tendency for your spouse to walk outside there and get from outside what you have been denying him inside the house. So please, I beg of you, if you discover that your marriage is going down, do whatever you can to raise the intimacy level in the marriage. Encourage your spouse to take baths with you. Encourage your spouse to engage in hobbies with you. Encourage your spouse to take evening walks with you. Encourage your spouse to, take out time so that both of you can share quality time together. It's very, very important. If you can do that, you will see the joy of your marriage coming back gradually. I want to let you know that. And if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so immediately. There's a red button by my side. Click on it and get subscribed, and let's continue. Number 5, you must learn to put the needs of your spouse far above your own. I know this can be difficult because we are always trying to be, selfish and self-centered. But a self-centered spouse will never make it in marriage. The only way you can make it in marriage is when you begin to think of the welfare of your partner above that of yourself. Think of what makes him or her happy. Think of ways you can, support him or her in fulfilling vision, in fulfilling divine purpose. Think of ways you can add value to him or her. Think on ways you can improve on his or her own personality. Think of additions, whatever you can do to make your spouse better than who or what she is presently. It is very, very important. If you begin to think in that realm, you will get it right. But if your own desire is about you alone, you are always thinking about yourself. You are always thinking about what makes you happy. You are always thinking about what makes you in hype. You're always thinking about just yourself. You become self-centered. I can tell you that marriage will go down the drain. And I want you to mark that. If you are one that has been having that kind of feelings, self-centeredness, selfishness, it is time that you do a reversal. Begin to think about the need of your spouse more than your own need. And then you begin to get it right. The 6th thing you must do if you actually want your marriage to fulfill purpose is to elevate your relationship above any other relationship. Outside your relationship with God, your marriage should come second, immediate second. Because I have seen some people who elevate their relationship with their friends more than that of their marriage. People who elevate their work more than their marriage. People who elevate, their time even in the church more than their marriage. No. After your relationship with God, the most important relationship you must have is that of you and your spouse. So create time for it. Yield the resources to it. Put time for it. Put energy to it. Do whatever you can to make that relationship what it ought to be. Because quality marriages don't just drop from the sky. Quality marriages is a relationship between two people who have decided to come together and work as one. People who have decided to be committed to themselves and to the union, no matter whatever is the situation. People who have decided to burn the bridges. Every exit point is burnt up. These are the people who end up with quality marriages. But if your own is, if it gets bad, I walk away. Or if times become difficult, I walk away. Or if my husband finds himself in extramarital affairs, I walk away. Or if I don't get the kind of money I desire to get, I walk away. Or if my spouse becomes sick, that the sickness may take his life, I walk away. If that is your situation, then you are not in marriage at all. You are not in marriage at all. A quality marriage is a marriage of commitment. A marriage where unconditional love tarries. A marriage that tries through, dedication, discipline. That is the marriage that stands the test of time. And please, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so immediately. Click on that red button by my side and be part of this awesome family. The 7th thing you must do if you actually want your marriage to stand the test of time, especially if you observe that somehow the marriage is going down, the joy, the excitement is going down, please surround yourself with people who are experiencing quality marriages. I feel very, very bad. I feel frustrated when people who are having terrible experiences in marriage begin to look for counsel from people who are also having terrible experiences in their marriage. No. Any person whose marriage has failed will never give you the counsel that will elevate your marriage. Any person who does not have a glorious family life, a glorious marriage, an exemplary marriage, cannot give you the advice that will make your marriage prosper. So, if you have a problem with your marriage, please seek the counsel and the companionship and the fellowship of couples whose marriages you admire, couples whose families you love. These are the kind of people. They could be older couples. They could be people who you have checked their marriage, you have checked their behavior, you have checked their communication level. These are couples you admire. These are the people you could learn from. So one of the basic things you must do right now is to look for the counsel and the companionship and the fellowship of quality couples. That is one thing you must do immediately. And then I will give you number 8. I would like to let you know that every quality marriage is a union of two great forgivers. If you don't make allowance for forgiveness, if you don't make allowance for tolerance, if you don't make allowance for accommodating the feelings and the opinions of one another or the weaknesses of one another, and when your partner falls into the place of weakness, you rise up in strength to forgive. If you don't do that, you may never get it right in marriage. You may never get it right. Because whether you know it or not, for as long as you are married as a couple, there will always be tendencies for offense. Offenses will always happen. It must happen. The moment it happens, rise up to the occasion. Have it at the back of your mind that you must forgive. If you fail to forgive and you continue to accumulate hurts inside your heart, if you continue to regurgitate hurts, if you continue to think about things that your partner did to you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you use it as a barometer to measure the life of your marriage or the joy of your marriage, you will never get it right. So have it at the back of your mind that you need to forgive. Have it at the back of your mind that forgiveness is central to making your marriage what it is or what it ought to be. Number 9, you must make an effort to reverse the boredom in your marriage. I can tell you that the reason why your marriage is failing is because it is not inspired. Some of the decisions and choices you have been making as a couple, they are not inspiring. They are not qualitative enough to raise the level of excitement in your marriage. But let me give you an example. You have been making love, having sex, you have been making love the same way all the time. It has been missionary style, and you have done it for ages. Now it's no longer interesting. But if you make up your mind to spice it up by having other sexual positions and by being able to make love anywhere in the house, especially when the children are not there, you discover that your sex life will improve. That's one of them. If you also discover somehow that you have not been having time for one another, and you decide to create time, possibly in the evening or Saturday, the whole of Saturday, and you make that day a unique day for you and your spouse to sit and talk and discuss some certain, you will discover that your marriage will take on a new meaning. Very, very important. So find a way to spice it up. Find a way to spice it up. It's very, very important, because if you fail to spice it up and you continue moving in the same trend that you are used to over the years, nothing will change. Nothing will change. The only way you can make things change is to create changes in the present circumstance. Very, very important indeed. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so immediately. There's a red button by my side. Click on it and get subscribed. Become part of this awesome channel. It's a channel that is blessing lives, especially the lives of married couples. Be part of this channel and you see your marriage improve with time. And I will give us number 10. Number 10. Earlier, as we started this discussion, I told you in number 1 that you should pick a pen and paper and write some of the things, or some of the areas of this board, and some of the ways that your marriage has been failing, and at what point it started falling. Now this is the time to use that paper. Bring out that paper, look at it critically, and then make a decision to start working on the things you wrote down one by one. Make a decision. Take number 1, for instance. Oh, we have not been talking well. What are the things that we need to change? Take point number 2, for instance. Oh, my husband has not been supporting my visions. How? Husband, come, let's sit together. Take the points one after the other. Because if you fail to do so and you continue walking in the same trend and believing that things will get better, it will not get better. Things that you have pointed out must be worked on proactively and with prayer also until you get the right trend, until you get your relationship in the right track. Very, very important. And of course, number 11. 2 more points and we go. Number 11. The number 11 I want to let you know is that it is necessary for you to get a quality counselor, a marriage therapist, a marriage counselor, somebody that is trained for that purpose, somebody that has the experience to sit with you as a couple and objectively look at the things, the areas of default in your marriage and see how he can pin all the pieces together and give you a quality result. You need such a person. You don't have to be looking for counsel from your friends. You don't have to be looking for counsel from even your pastors, because some pastors are also having very terrible marriages. You don't have to be looking for counsel from your teachers look for counsel from a counselor, a marriage counselor, a marriage therapist that is qualified, trained and qualified for that kind of purpose. So that when you sit back with him and you pour out your challenges and your spouse pours out his or her own, he will be able to gather the remnants together and look at critical areas of adjustment. It's very, very important. Look for a marriage therapist. It's important. And finally, number 12, at the final point. Please, if you are experiencing a downturn in the excitement in your marriage, and it appears as if conflicts and all manner of arguments have taken over, it is time to seek the face of God. Seek the face of God, because there are some certain things that may be happening in a home that is beyond ordinary. Every person that gets into marriage wants to see the marriage triumph. He wants to see the relationship blossom. He wants to see the relationship get better and better. But somehow there are some forces, unseen forces, that may be causing a terrible rift between the couple. This is the time to take your matter to God in prayers. This is the time to draw your partner to the praying altar. This is the time to open your heart before the Creator, because He is the one who brought both of you together out of many upon the face of the earth, and only Him has all the answers. If you can only but listen to Him and listen to your marriage therapist and make up your mind to go the distance in your marriage, I can tell you that your marriage will stand the test of time. I thank you very well for actually taking time to listen to this edition of Marriage Without Tears. Once again, click this red button by my side, get subscribed, and I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless your home and God bless your marriage.